Okay, I'm going to show you a few techniques with the fine gauge loom and a little bit about how to do a flat knit and how to help yourself not make it so tight that you can't toss it over, because this is actually just flat knit and I don't have it that tight. So I'm going to show you how I do the flat knit so that it's not too tight. First of all, I'm not putting any tension on the working yarn. I'm allowing it to just lightly go over my ring and pinky finger, holding on to the loom so it's barely there. In fact, I'm just lightly laying it over the pegs. So what I do is I take the bottom loop off, I pull it up and over and back. And you see when I pull that stitch back, it automatically loosens that. And I go to the next one. I pull it up, over, and into the middle. See? I'm pulling it back, and you see how it's loosening up that stitch. Pulling it back and loosening up that stitch. Up, over, and into the middle. Up, over, and into the middle. Again, don't put any tension anywhere. If you put tension anywhere, you'll get it to where you can't toss it over. And in my personal opinion, flat knit is the fastest way to go about knitting if you're not going to do any fancy stitching. If you're going to do fancy stitching where you're going to work in a design or something and you're using knits and purls, then you want to do your traditional knit. And how you want to do your traditional knit if you're using the knits and purls is like the purl, where you go under, where you stick the hook through the top and pull the working yarn up under and then place on like that. That's the purl. Well, the traditional knit is the same thing, except you're going from you're bringing your working yarn through the top rather than through the bottom. So you stick your hook up through the bottom of the loop, grab the working yarn, pull through the bottom, and then up and over. And that's a traditional knit. So if you want to take a fine gauge loom and go in and actually do designs where you're doing lettering that says I love you or something like that, or you want to do hearts or anything festive like a Christmas tree or a jack-o'-lantern, and you just want to do it in texture where it's knits and purls, you'll want to do that style knit and not the flat knit, because the flat knit can be too tight in comparison to the purl, and so it offsets it too much. But I just showed you a purl and I just showed you a traditional knit. Now I'm going to show you how to do a cast on, and what you're going to do is you're going to wrap the peg around, and I always like to put my hook in the way, it makes it a little faster. You're going to wrap it around like an E-wrap, and then you're going to wrap it around again, and you're going to toss that bottom loop over. Without the hook in the way, you wrap, put the hook in, wrap again, toss the bottom loop over. Wrap, put the hook in, wrap, toss the bottom loop over. So that's the reason why I like to go ahead and wrap my hook in there with that bottom one, and then wrap again. And when you toss the bottom loop over, you can pull it. And that is how you do a cast on. I'm going to show you the move 2 stitches to the left and move 2 stitches to the right to a single stitch. So move 2 to 1, and there will be an arrow to the left, move 2 to 1 to the right. And that is what this is going to stand for. So what we're going to do, as you can see, there's 2 on there. This is what moving 2 to the right to 1 peg. So you're going to take that top loop, move it over, and you're going to take that next loop and move it over. So you've just moved 2 stitches to the right onto 1 peg. And now you should have 3 stitches on 1 peg. Well, now we're going to show you the other thing. We're going to move 2 stitches to the left onto 1 peg. We're going to lift that end peg up. Then we're going to lift the next loop up. We're going to put the last loop we picked up on first, then the next one. And that is a 2 stitch to the left to a single peg move. And this is where we're overlapping to allow more finger or toe space. So that's how you do a move 2 to the left to 1, or move 2 stitches to the right 1 to 1 peg. We're going to cast off. We're going to E-wrap 2. E-wrap 2. Bring that over. Toss the bottom loop over, bring it over. E-wrap 2. Put over, toss the bottom loop over, move over. Then we'll knit 3, because we're going to continue that pattern. Knit 3, purl 2, knit 3, purl 2, knit 3, purl 2. And that's how it's done. So you can do it on the 40 and you can do it on the 56. Just keep in mind when you're doing it on the 56, your odd peg out will be a purl, which is going to be over here.